How do you feel about her now? Is she still...
How do I feel about the woman who called CPS on me, who was my best friend when I was in active addiction? She also shot meth and crack and smoked crack with me. We did drugs together. We were druggie buddies. And we had been best friends for a couple of years at that point. She was actually in the room with me when I gave birth to my son. What's up, you guys? My name is Nicole Pludre, and I love to talk about drugs, addiction, recovery, and so much more. I'm a person in long-term recovery, and I've been sober for 8.5 years. So let's get into this question, and thank you so much for asking it. How do I feel about her now? Well, I feel bad for Tara. Her name was Tara, and for many years, she lied to me. For many years, she told me it was not her that called CPS on me, and she was adamant on that. But I knew that it was her, because when she called them, the things that she said was exactly what she said to me on the phone when she was angry at me. See, she called CPS on me because she got mad, because she owed me $30. I asked her to pay me back. She refused to, so I went to her boyfriend, who was a Little Rock police officer at the time, and I asked him, hey, will you pay me back the $30 that Tara owes me? And he was like, sure, and gave it right back to me. And that made her really, really mad. So mad that she called me that night and said, bitch, I'm calling CPS on you. And that's what she did. When that happened, I hated her guts. I wanted to drive my Honda Ridgeline truck through her apartment building window. Okay? Every time I would see her driving in her car, I would flip her off. Me and my husband were so mad. As the years went on and I stayed sober longer, you'll never guess what happened. Around my 6.5 year sober birthday, she called me and told me she was sorry, and that she had been lying to me for the last 6.5 years, that she was in fact the person who called CPS on me. And I told her, girl, just like I told you 3 years ago, because we ran into each other on my 3rd year sober birthday. And I told her when I ran into her that day at Kroger, I forgive you. So just like I told her at 3 years, at 6.5 years, I told her, girl, I know, and I forgive you. And I want you to know that if you need help getting sober, I'll help you. I've always offered her help, but she's never taken it. A couple of months after she admitted to me about calling CPS on me, she called me while I was at work, and she was in meth psychosis. She thought that there was people inside of her home, so I dropped everything that I was doing and I went to her house right away. My son was in school at the time, so I was by myself. When I got there, she was adamant that there were people on the cameras. She was showing me the videos on her phone, and there was nobody there. She was accusing her daughter of being under the influence and accusing her daughter of having relations with this imaginary man that was in the house, and there was nobody there. I offered to take her daughter with me to let her stay the night that night, and she refused. Later on that night, she took her daughter to the emergency room to have an RAPE kit ran on her, because that's how high she was. She thought her daughter was really having sex with this imaginary person. About 60 days later, she called me and told me that her daughter got taken away from her by CPS. And in my mind, I was thinking, oh God, it took them this long? But I told her, I said, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Do you know that she got her daughter back within 30 days? 30 days. And they closed her case. How is that even fucking possible? So, how do I feel about her now? Like I said, I feel bad for her. I feel bad for her. If she called me today and needed help, I would help her. Do I know if she's sober today? I have no idea. She says she is. She always would tell me that. Always. And she would always lie. And so I forgive her. I forgive her. Her calling CPS on me was what catapulted me into sobriety and forced me into getting sober. But it didn't have to be like that, you know? And the way CPS treated me and my husband, and then to see them take her kid away from her for 30 days and then give the girl right back, it was so crazy to me. And that is how I know CPS is fucked.